In this lesson, we're going to take a look at how to work with cropping. Now, cropping can actually save a picture and help you really define the composition that you're trying to do. I'm going to teach you two different ways. One way is a very basic way of cropping your images, and the next way has a little bit more control that will give you a little bit better preview of what you're trying to do. So for this image, or this lesson, I'm going to be using the image lighthouse wide. It's just a wide shot of a lighthouse just down the street from our office here. And I'm going to actually minimize this set of tools here, that way, or palettes, that way we're not really taking up any of that real estate. All right, so with this image, what we're going to do is crop this down. Now, by cropping this, we're going to be able to focus our eye or our attention onto certain areas of this image. So for example, let's say I just want to crop down to this square. No problem. Make a rectangular selection, image, crop. And that will crop this down to the selection that I had. Now, keep in mind that this selection, there's no more data now. So the part that I had selected and I hit crop, it's almost like Photoshop says, all right, delete everything else that you don't need. So if I was to move this image, this edge is gone now. All this information, this person walking, they're all gone. Okay, so just keep that in mind that you can't recover that data after you've done your crop. Now let's go ahead and bring this file back as to its original state. To do that, you just go to File, Revert, which is essentially revert back to the previous save. So we'll revert it to this. And we'll say, okay, what if I wanted to make a circular marquee? Well, yes, you can make a selection like this, but when you go to create your crop, it won't keep that selection like that. It will actually put a bounding box around your selection and say, okay, that's how I would have to crop it. So you can't make a circular crop. Let's revert this one more time. Same instance, you can't do some kind of a weird, crazy set of shapes and say, okay, crop that, because it will, again, just make a bounding box around your cropped image. So that's one way of doing your basic crops. Again, you draw a marquee, and you just say crop, and it will crop it down. Now, there's a great tool that is inside of Photoshop called the crop tool that can actually do a lot of this stuff for you, and it has a little bit more control. So if I click and drag, okay, same kind of deal. It looks exactly the same. I get this little marquee action here, but now I can actually place my image inside of this area. You notice the background dims. That's showing you this part's going to get deleted. And I've got, by default, this rule of thirds guide. Now, if you like grids, you can actually change that to a grid, or you can say, no, I don't want anything. I actually like the rule of thirds because it helps me compose my image a little bit better, and you can see it looks nice in this type of format. So how do you crop the image? Well, there's two ways. You can double-click, or you can hit Enter. So if I double-click, there it is. And you have to double-click inside the crop, and you've recropped it. All right, so let's go ahead and revert this one more time, and let me show you another trick. Let's say you wanted to make a 5x7 print, and you're not for sure if this will fit in a 5x7. Well, what you can do is just come in and type in your actual sizes that you want. So if I put in 5, and then I put in inches, and I put in 7 space IN for inches, and my resolution, I'd like to keep this around 300 pixels per inch. Now watch what happens. When I click and drag, wait a minute, I wanted a 5x7 wide, not a 5x7 tall, so I need to actually switch these numbers. So if you accidentally do that and you don't want to crop, you can hit Escape, and it will remove that crop for you, and then this little arrow, by clicking it, will just switch these values for you. So now when you click and drag, you will get a 5x7 wide. Okay, let's go ahead and compose my shot here. There we go. I'll press Enter, and there is our cropped image ready to go. So again, a great way to fix an old picture or a picture that you may not have composed well, or if you're going to be doing some really weird printing, that's another way of actually getting in there and getting your exact settings, make out a crop image, and crop the image down to your final print size. So again, just a couple of little tricks there on saving some old pictures.